Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
The Love Change podcast. Every Tuesday, live. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Today's topic.
Yes, today we would like to talk about the discomfort that we face around self-development, and to make it extra difficult and discomforting, we would like to add the partner level. So basically having someone around you that is also keeping score and having an eye on you, knowing what your self-development goals are, makes it kind of even more difficult, because that person caring for you and exactly knowing when to call you out on your bullshit. So for myself, last year, I think it was a lot about still curing my eating disorder, and that particular person next to me calling me out on when I would have weird food days, to be like, what is that? Why are you eating that weird? And I think this year in particular, it is a lot about tapping into emotions and really, speaking in the moment out of an emotional place.
Not any type of emotion, mostly anger. I think there's something.
Yeah, sadness, anger, yeah, definitely.
Voicing it to the person.
The negative emotions, yeah, that's a good one. Fair enough. See, that's where we are. Best examples just come in those places and moments.
So the topic today is all about you yourself have certain changes that you have in mind, and sometimes change is hard. So you trick yourself. You're like, maybe I can cheat today on a diet or an exercise regime. Simple examples, but also more examples underwater, like expressing your emotions, telling somebody what you truly think or feel, just things that are hard to do.
Yeah, just shrugging them off and be like, yo, it's fine.
Yeah.
But actually, it's not.
And then when you have a partner and they confront you with that, when you're tricking yourself, it can be uncomfortable for you. It can be uncomfortable for your partner. It can be a whole bunch of nastiness, which is all actually there to help you grow as a person. So it's an interesting topic.
Yeah, because often we don't see it ourselves, and our partner is really the one to...
You can always count on somebody else to do. And, and if you're listening today, you care about change. That's why you're tuned into the Love Change podcast. We share a taboo-free, shameless version of ourselves, of our lives, our experiences. I'm a change coach behaviorally. Kay is a change coach dietary, I would say, mostly food related and health-wise.
Lifestyle choice, yeah.
Yeah, and together we got a bunch of, recommendations for each other, which are sometimes welcome and sometimes not. I had the suggestion to do this episode with the use of examples. So the topic is, the discomfort of personal development with a partner. And I think it's nice or funny or uncomfortable to talk about when were all the moments that I made it uncomfortable for you to not lie to yourself or just trick yourself the way you've always done. You have some examples for that?
Yeah, I think the last couple of months before June, when I was working a bit crazy, and I would be tired, and then I think until May I was drinking coffee still, and then I would come home tired or grab a coffee outside and be like, yo, I can do another 2-3 hours easy, and be a bit agitated, because I think that's what coffee really does to you.
Or
and
hunger.
Not admit to myself that I'm actually just tired. I should just take a little nap. And I think being in the headspace of I just want to get something done, I just want to tick off this one task of my list for today, and then someone telling you, actually you're just tired, maybe you should have a nap. That kind of is really the contradiction of what you want to do. So I think many times would really trigger something in me to be like, just leave me be. Just let me have my coffee. Yeah, exactly. I didn't ask for that advice.
Or recently, the coffee's on empty stomach.
Yeah, also a good one. Absolutely. Yeah, being someone who advises people how to eat well, and then starting my day with a coffee on an empty stomach. Wonder why I don't feel so well. Absolutely.
You're a
But
great
yeah, since
example.
stopping drinking coffee completely, I think those things at least went away. But I think, yeah, the biggest challenge in that is also always to, like, you have a certain mission and you just, or it's a certain autopilot that you're coming from. For me, it will be my past behavior. Okay, tired, just drink another coffee, keep working, finish your task, finish your job. And then someone like literally bombarding this idea, because it's not only, hey, the coffee is not good,
But
but actually you need the
this is
opposite.
interesting because okay, you have the old autopilot, and then you have me bombarding, but you also yourself have a certain opinion about your autopilot, no?
Yeah, of course, but sometimes you just like, you just really fall back into this autopilot without realizing that it is the autopilot. You're like, I'm pretty conscious in my everyday life, but right now I just want to finish that task. Just give me those 2 3 hours. Just let me like, boom, pull up my productivity and just pull through with a coffee or two. And that's exactly those moments where you don't see it yourself. But if you have someone who cares about you and is also, yeah, confident enough to call you out on your bullshit, then you're like, damn, that's exactly what I didn't want to hear.
That's an interesting
So
aspect also to be confident enough to call somebody out.
yeah, I think it doesn't necessarily, it's not something that is appreciated. And I think we both are pretty stubborn. So I had often times when you would call me on my bullshit, I'd be like, yeah, just really
Just
react.
deny it.
Yeah, just deny it, but also just react agitated, because it's like, hey, like, no, I don't want to see it. And even more, I don't want
Let me
someone
have my
holding up the
coffee.
mirror.
Yeah, let
Like,
me have
no,
my,
I
if
just
I
want to
want
have
to have
my
a coffee,
coffee.
yeah, if I always
If
have
I
a
have my
coffee.
coffee, then I'm fine and I can function. Just leave me be.
The true junkie.
Yeah, partly too. But I think that's why I think, to, if you truly care for someone that you with, then you also really are willing to face that discomfort of calling someone out on their bullshit, and knowing that this might also not be the reply might not be, oh, thank you, that's really good, you're right,
No.
I should not.
No, it doesn't
That
add.
someone might be like, what the fuck, just leave me alone. Like, hey,
Mind your business.
mind your own business. Yeah, leave me. Then you want to leave the house? Yeah, go away. That type. So I think that's something that is really, yeah, very valuable also, to
And
put
what was
yourself in
so
that space.
uncomfortable about being called out? Like besides what you said, that bombarding your auto
Pilot.
programming, I think you also want to change your autopilot. So
Yeah, but sometimes like you have a certain portion where you're not aware of your own autopilot. And I think these were the ones for me, the, like, gosh, million of years drinking coffee on an empty stomach and functioning, and considering that my breakfast, I mean, point blank, that's just what it was. That was a certain something in my belly that my belly could function. So it was breakfast, aka breakfast. So, like, sometimes you don't want to see it yourself. You're not as far to be like, this is actually a shitty replacement for a breakfast, or it's a shitty thing to call breakfast. And then someone just rubs it in your face, and you're like, yeah, it's true, but I'm just too stubborn to also admit that this is the truth.
okay.
Yeah. Surprised?
No, I was expecting something also along the lines of, because that's what I have. Like for instance, if you call me out on something, um, let's say my biggest struggle, not to eat chips late at night.
Chips would also be
Late
my
at
best
night,
example.
eating chips is my junkie. Prefer the
Mode.
drugs, my vice, my love, my aspiration to jump in a pool of chips and swim in it. But yeah, when you call me out on that, it also, besides me always having eaten chips and chips just being a lifestyle choice that I completely like.
Embrace.
If Lay's wants to sponsor this podcast, I would accept payment in chips.
I would not, I'm sorry.
All jokes aside, I would also, when I would be called out, besides being stubborn and denying it, I would also feel like somebody's pointing out that I'm not honoring an agreement that I made with myself. You know? Because If I would be happy eating a chips bag every day,
Hmm.
I wouldn't say I want to change it. I'm not happy with it.
Yeah.
I want to change it. I might want to lose some weight or just not consider chips food.
Everyday snack.
Yeah, it's a special occasion type of thing.
But you also often tap into the space of negotiating and be like, hey, I have eaten a week, or I have eaten Monday to Friday really well. Now I really deserve that bag of
Those
chips.
moments I'm okay, but sometimes because then I'm really
You get
like,
really upset. You get really
yeah,
upset.
but
if
the
you-
upsetness is also about like fuck, I am failing at keeping this promise to myself.
Okay, so it's not about me denying you the chips.
Like, you
It's,
cannot deny me chips.
I can.
No, I can go to the store and buy chips. It's not like you will stop me from buying chips.
No, but if like
Freeze
the
his
shop
account.
is closed already, then
There's always ways to get chips. Okay,
this man definitely
Good
knows
chips.
all those ways to get
but
chips.
besides these light examples, I think this part of the conversation is way more present. For instance, if I say something about I don't know, the rice example,
Mhm.
and you walking away having that conversation with yourself about not
I
doing
spoil-
something
yeah.
right or spoiling food or wasting food,
Yeah.
and then when somebody calls you out on something that you also don't like to do, you're also sometimes confronted with your hypocrisy,
Hmm.
and then internally you end up in this like discomfort because you snitched on me being a liar to myself,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's super uncomfortable, and you definitely need to how do you say it? Yeah, if you're blessed with somebody who does that, because it's not in their favor to do it.
No. That's what you also keep saying. It's definitely not in your favor. It's definitely not going to do good to you to call someone out. It might do good to you in the long term because
In the moment, no.
no, in the moment definitely not. In the
No,
moment
it triggers stuff.
Yeah.
It's nice to stay on the surface and not like confront where it's a bit shallow, you know.
Hmm.
But if you do that, I think big part of it is also afterwards being like, hey, like for instance, if I'm eating chips, probably I'm tired.
That's what I said the last time, I think. I
Yeah,
was
maybe
like,
you just need to
are
go
you
to
just
bed.
tired or do you really want to eat chips?
Yeah.
Because it is that type of comfort food.
Yeah.
Or also, like, usually now I don't give you the bag of chips because that literally disappears in 2 minutes. Not kidding. But I just give you a bowl with half
I
of
get
the
the
bag
refills.
inside.
I get
Yeah,
free
you
refills.
get the portion, and then when you finish that, I'm like, yeah, you really need more. Is that enough? Like, I haven't seen people in my life who would eat a full dinner, then eat a full bag of chips, and also have days where they would eat a second bag of chips. I'm not kidding. So that's why I'm like, hey, we had a full dinner. Half a bag of chips is also enough. So I think,
Never enough chips.
yeah, your life.
So let's
definitely-
drop some more how do you say it, deeper examples than just the chips and the coffee and the food. What do you think is the most close to heart one, so to say?
Yeah, I think for me also what we talked with our coach today to really like if you have something, like we have a talk and something really like triggers a certain emotion, to really speak that out in that moment. Like I really tend to shut down, walk away, rationalize. That's what I said today. Really rationalize
What did he say? What did he
what
say?
it is.
Disassociate.
Yeah, disassociate from what it is.
I found that a pretty heavy, or not a heavy, but like a
It is very true.
profound insight.
Yeah.
That actually shutting down is a form of disassociation, walking away is a form of dissociation, all those.
Yeah, this whole for me really rationalizing of like our foundation for the relationship is there is no bad intention. So whatever, like if you might misunderstand something and someone like the other party says something and you're
Pisses
like,
you
that
off.
was really pissing me off. The thought I always start with is there is no bad intention. So then I can really like see it in a neutral way. So, and also ask those questions.
Yeah,
So
just
that's why,
remember that. Yeah.
yeah, that's why when you say something, I'm like coming from a rational perspective of not taking things personally, but be like, okay, there's no bad intention. What is he trying to tell me? But of course, you can stretch that very far and go really into like, oh yeah, okay, it's like
It's also
it was
interesting.
painful, but
It's also
it's no bad
interesting
intention.
because here you show an example of you taking something not personal, while a lot of times you also take things personal.
Yeah.
So it's like this wig
It
wag.
it is a wig. I think that's the biggest learning in that whole self-development process with you also, to just really, like find this middle way between that, not taking personally.
That first of all, to become aware that like we have an on and off switch, like
Yeah.
either we're like this or we're a completely different version. To be aware of that and then to recognize why we switch to one side. Like one side super connected, super caring, super self-sacrifice, super engaged, and then it switches to don't care, leave me alone, take care of yourself, please leave me be.
I think also the part, if you get hurt, then you kind of also want to punish the other person of showing, you know what, I don't need you. So this shutting down, walking away, disassociating.
I think if you do not voice the part that you're hurt, then you end up in the mind wanting to hurt back. That's what I noticed in myself.
But walking away is that.
If you hurt me and I don't say it, then I'm like walking around with like, what a bitch, she really hurt me, and then I'm like, do something back. While if I would say, hey, this what you did really hurt me, I would probably get a friendly response from you because you're not out to hurt me.
Probably also a surprise response. Be like, oh my gosh, really? Oh, I wasn't aware that hurt you. That's the communication.
I think for both of us is the challenge to name the feelings that arise in relationship to the other person.
Yeah.
And then when we don't, when it's obvious that I'm like, go away. Those are difficult moments to call somebody out on, like, hey, you're acting a bit weird. Is something I said upsetting you, or just asking it because I ask it plenty of times because I do it plenty of times that I notice I say something and you're like, just shut down or disengage in some type of way.
Yeah.
While in those moments, sharing, those are discomfortable moments also. Like, hey, what's up? Why are you not saying what's up?
Yeah, but that's the whole point. Like, in those moments, you can really decide to share those emotions and talk about how you feel, or rationalize it, as I often do. To be like, okay, that might have hurt, but there is no bad intention. So what could you mean? And then this whole analysis machine starts in my head. Why just sharing? Hey, that was really a weird
but when you
thing.
get called out on that, how is that?
If I get called out on
not sharing what's going on.
Yeah, that's also like pulling me out of my bubble, that I just wanted to start analyze the whole thing. That also is not something that, like, I don't want to be. If I decide to rationalize and not to share, then I also want to be by myself, right? And then being called out is like, no thanks, I didn't want to interact, I just wanted to run it by myself. So of course that is triggering discomfort as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find that pretty interesting, really, also what our coach said today, to be like, just really share the raw emotion and be like, okay, that was weird.
Yeah.
Just like no judgment, and also just like leave that. And
the best one, I cannot cope with this right now, I'm going to leave the house. I'm like, yo, if you do that every time, it's also not good.
Bye. Your energy is really
you have too
really
much,
affecting me. Okay, bye. See you later.
You deal with yourself for now, okay? It's fair enough. Sometimes you really have that feeling, and then you suppress that feeling because you want to be polite or nice or whatever. I think during your birthday, when you walked away, I wanted to walk away 10 times from the situation.
You don't know how many times I wanted to walk away.
But eventually you did it, and I was like, at least I didn't. But why? Why didn't I?
Oh, you've been proud that you didn't walk away?
I was like, I stood firm ground.
Seriously? Oh my gosh, no.
Well, you
I just
saved us both.
yeah. It was like super uber dark red, both of us, just like confrontation mindset, and I was just like, okay, it's my birthday, cannot deal with that shit. I'm sorry, I don't want to make that day in memory worse. So no thanks.
Yeah, but I think it's good. It's good to realize, for us at least, it's a lot of times we're dealing with the same struggle. Opening up, sharing emotions, staying to ourselves, knowing what's our stuff, what's the other person's stuff.
Yeah, and also I think really the in the moment sharing is really a struggle. Like we talked this week, and I was like, yeah, before I went on my own vacation, I really was struggling with myself before. And then you say, yeah, why didn't you share before? And I was like, because I didn't know what to say. But actually, that is just a poor excuse. Because if
You
I
just
would
didn't
tell
feel
you
comfortable in the moment saying.
exactly, but if I would tell you, hey, I feel kind of weird-ish, I don't know,
Super
wacky,
judging myself.
yeah, then you would be like, okay, tell me more, and we would like embark on this journey of on figuring out why and what is going on and where is it coming from, right? Like that's what you do when you care for someone. But to decide to just like again rationalize and be like, I gotta figure it out for myself and then I can share. And then it was just like a side note where we shared it. So it was also just like, no, it was actually a big thing in my head, but trying to just not. And yeah, I find that really
also don't know what's going on in your head. Cannot
exactly
read it.
for you. It's just like, okay, well,
It's news to me. I'm not
exactly.
like trying to check what's going on in your head. I can't.
Yeah, absolutely. And also like not necessarily feeling that something is off. It's just in me. How can you know? You cannot know.
I'm definitely not in a camp of like looking for stuff to be off all the time.
Yeah, because it's not fair enough, but
No, but also some people have that they're like, is something wrong? Is something up?
yeah, I think the asking question, is something wrong, is already the wrong way. Sorry, I'm just like, because that
How's
kind
it
of like
going? I think
implies
how's it going is
that
pretty
something
okay.
is wrong. I don't know. Yeah, how is it going? What's up with you? Something like that. So I guess
How do you feel about the episode? This was your topic. Your
it
struggle
was
of
my
phrasing
topic.
it.
Yeah, I think
Think it came out right?
I think so too. Yeah, I really think so. I think that was good, and I think it's a lot processing in the process of self development with someone. It's really you kind of, as you said in the beginning, you can really fool yourself very well around the I had 5 days good healthy food, now I can eat 2 bags of chips,
Yeah,
and
or
it's
I
fine.
shared my emotions this afternoon. I don't feel like sharing them tonight.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't feel like sharing them. Now I
Yeah.
just want to watch YouTube and Netflix and not talk.
Yeah.
Because we've been talking all damn day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
simple.
but I think, it is really, the longer you spend with someone, the more you really kind of aspire to be yourself. And I think this is also a big portion of self-development, to really tap into being yourself around someone and be comfortable to voice those things. Either it's like, I don't feel like talking about something, or I don't feel like doing something together. I think especially for us, the last couple of weeks is really the big breakthrough moment, in my opinion, to really be completely comfortable around saying, hey, I don't feel like doing something together. I'm happy you just left the house. I have the house to myself. It's good that you're gone, because afterwards I'm going to miss you more, etc., etc. I think really being yourself fully is it's a big breakthrough when you go through self-development and being around someone.
Definitely.
So yeah,
thanks for this lovely episode.
Thank
you got
you.
something to add?
No.
I'm good too.
No.
Thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for listening. If you're in Amsterdam, you can join at Yagoi the Love Change Together classes. I'm facilitating group coaching, followed by some Nidra, or the Nidras before. Check out the schedule, yagoi.com. Yoge backwards. I don't know. Google Yagoi. Yoge backwards.
I'm sorry.
That's it. Love Change out.
Thanks so much for tuning in. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.